and my leg has fallen asleep. Hello and welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is July 15th, 2022, and this is episode 37. I'd like to welcome any new subscribers and thank you very much for coming back. Today is a beautiful day outside, so I'm going to try and record this quickly because this beautiful top that I'm wearing is a little warm. Hopefully my flushness doesn't show up too bad on the video, but yeah, it's warm today. It's warm. It's going to be a hot one. We are in full summer around here, and yeah, so that makes for very warm weather. We have been very lucky so far this year in that we have not had too much smoke from any wildfires, but I did hear on the news that they have started. Luckily, none too close to me or too close to any residents. We will see how the wind blows and where else they get started. Hopefully it's a good year and we don't have too many fires, but that's also where I live. I also wanted to mention that I am trying out a new microphone today. It is a lav mic. You can see it right here attached to my sweater. Hopefully I don't bump it or get tangled in this very long cord that is hanging out with me. Hopefully it's smooth sailing and the audio quality is a bit better than it has been. I'm looking forward to it. I did a little test and it seemed pretty good, so cross our fingers as it works. Today for you, I have what am I wearing, finished objects, works in progress, events, and some chatter. Let's get started, shall we? What am I wearing? Well, today I am wearing a finished object. I was so close to the finish line the last time I showed this to you, which was 3 weeks ago that I recorded, more than 3 weeks ago, I think. So yeah, my Flex Fridays at work swap sometimes and get moved around sometimes because we don't get Flex Fridays when there's holidays, which totally makes sense. But anyway, there you are. So today is one of my Flex Fridays, so I thought I would record, and so here we are. But I will hopefully be more regular with my recording, but it is the summertime, so you just never know. Sometimes I just want to go outside. Anyway, as I was saying, my what am I wearing is also my finished object. So let's just put that little in here. So my finished object and what I am currently wearing is my Petal Party Crop by Samantha Guerin. And I love this top. I will definitely be making more summer lightweight tops. Yeah, definitely. I think the Rocket Tee is high up on my list of another one to make. Yeah, they like fancy and they keep you just that little bit extra warm in the air conditioning. But if you go outside, it's not a big deal because it's wool. So, you know, anyway. There's my spiel about the summer tops. I love how this one turned out. I did everything to pattern exactly as it was written. I thought at first I might leave the neck treatment off and just leave it on as the cast on edge. But I love how this turned out. It's so pretty. Just that finishing touch. And the sleeves are perfect with just a little rib on them. Oh, I bumped the mic. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that. And the yarn didn't pool or flash any weird way. I just got a nice even color out of the whole thing. I did post some glamour shots that my husband did on the deck of me wearing this top, and I'm very happy with it. So I think you could wear it over like a cute dress or with jeans and a t-shirt, or you know, like a tank top underneath. The lace work definitely requires something to be worn underneath. I am not the type of person just to have my bra just out there. So currently I'm just wearing a white tank top, it's creamy white. I don't know. It's like an off-white color tank top underneath, but yeah, so it is beautiful and fun. The yarn is, I keep looking over here because my computer's over here today. So the yarn is Color Adventure in their cashmere sock, and it's the Winter Bloom colorway. So it was 2 skeins. I used all of it. When I got to the bottom ribbing, I would knit around and weigh it and knit around and weigh it, and I had just the perfect amount left. And it just worked out so awesome. So that is the only finished object that I have this week. So let's move on to works in progress. My first work in progress is the one I talk about every week that I've made absolutely no progress on, and it's in my giant Knit Picks bag. This is the Hinterland, and I've done nothing on it. This is the Hinterland by Jennifer Steinglass, and it is a fingering weight colorwork yoke sweater. I'm making this out of Cascade 220 fingering in the plum, where is it? Dark plum and buff colors. Yeah, I thought for sure I would make some progress on this, but you know, it's just not been in the brain space, and that is okay. Also, again, as I've said before, I'm doing Stash Dash, so I'm trying to finish a lot of things, and I will update you on those numbers in a minute. But I don't think I'm going to finish that by the end of August, so I'm kind of focusing my energy on things I know I'll finish by the end of August, which is when Stash Dash ends. And I will talk about Stash Dash in a bit. Next, we will move on to Taylor's birthday sweater. I got to be careful now because I have so many pieces of it. But look, guys. Dun, dun, dun. So this is the front. And it's hard to show because I have it on the same cord as the back. Here's the back. You saw that before. And it is actually going to fit her. It is a full-size sweater. It's just because it's just stockinette and I haven't seamed it or blocked it or anything yet. So it is just rolling a lot. But last night, we had planned to watch Critical Role, which is a Dungeons and Dragons thing. And because my kids aren't home, we watched it live. And I decided I have like 4 hours of TV time, dedicated TV time. I'm going to duplicate stitch that T on. So I love the color pop on this. It does need to be blocked. It's kind of flooping a bit. I put an extra row at the top of the T, and I think it's perfect. It felt a little weak, for lack of a better term. And I love how this turned out. And it's a mess on the back, but a few extra ends won't hurt anybody. So that's the front and the back are done. And oh goodness, I have 2 sleeves. They're probably about halfway done. She has ridiculously long arms, but I did put this on the other day and it comes up almost or to my elbow there. So yeah, definitely a few more inches needed on that, but the fit will be great on her. Of course, it'll be a little looser on her, which is fine, but it even fits my arm, so I am happy. And I'm doing those 2 at a time, which is my preferred method for sleeves, and on a magic loop cord that's not quite long enough, but I don't want to change needles at this point because then it might affect my gauge. So anyway, there we are. I should probably give you all the details on this one. So the pattern that I'm using is Mrs. Weasley's Home Knit Christmas Sweater from the official Harry Potter knitting book, the first one. And this pattern is by martaschmarta. And yeah, it's lovely. The pattern is really good. I'm very happy that I went back and made the bigger size and did it like the pattern called for. And you know, sometimes trying to change your pattern just isn't working, and I'm very happy with the results. Oh, but the sleeves are written for knitting in the flat, and I decided to knit them in the round because I figured I could get away with that. But And my gauge, I measured my gauge. It doesn't seem any different than the flat knitting, so I'm going with it. The yarn that I'm using is Cascade 220 in the cranberry colorway, and the sunflower is the yellow, which of course I have like most of the ball left, so I think a hat is definitely in order. I'm thinking the Antlers hat by Tin Can Knits. It's got some nice cables, and this Cascade 220 will give a nice pop on a cable, so it'll be good practice for my cables too, but not necessarily for Taylor for her birthday, but you know, future plans. Always thinking of what you can use the yarn for, right? So I think that is everything on that project, and we will move on to all of the things that I cast on. Okay, I got some of this because I've always been very curious about it. Bernat Velvet. I think I've showed you it. And I got some in, oh, there's crochet hook everywhere. This gray, which they call pale gray, and they call this teeny teal. But anyway, it is like uber soft. It is 100% acrylic, but it is also lovely. So those are the two colors that I got. And this is what I've made so far. Where are all the pieces? Here we go. This is the body. This is the head. It's not stuffed yet. And this little piece right here is the snout. Okay, it doesn't look like much, but I am making the, I think it's called the Velvet Bear. Velvet Valentine Crochet Bear by Sarah Zimmerman. There you go. There's your full thing. Yeah, it'll be like a baby toy or something. I'm gonna embroider a nose and eyes on it, I think, because I think this is gonna go to my coworker for his little girl being born later this year. And you know, when you gift things to kids, you want to make sure pieces are not gonna fall off when they chew on them. So yeah, we'll see if my embroidery skills are up to it. And I have done that before, but yeah, it is super soft. And then whatever's left of it, I'm gonna make the one bear. And if I really enjoyed making the bear, then I may make another bear. But Taylor has also asked for some scrunchies out of that. And I did see a pattern. I think it was Jen from the Down Cellar Studio was talking about a scrunchie pattern that she made with those. And you do it like around a hair elastic, so it actually kind of stays in a bit better. So I think that is my plan for the rest of that yarn. Like I said, always thinking of how I can use up the yarn. But that will be a very cute bear, and it is super soft, which is awesome. And what else did I cast on? I cast on some socks for my husband. In my beautiful yarn cubbies here, I put all of the sock yarn in this first one, and you can't see all of it, but I basically said to Mike, this is all sock yarn, pick whatever you want. And he said, what is the loudest sock yarn that you have? And so yeah, that's what he wanted. He picked it out, and here it is. So this is Mano Stel Uruguay in Allegria in the Locura Flow. It's crazy. It's crazy. I split it into two balls because I like to do his two at a time. And these are crazy socks, guys. I'm calling them Mike's Crazy Socks. So they are micro striping, which is kind of cool. And yeah, I'm doing the Vanilla Reversed pattern by Annie Fletcher, which is what I usually use for his. I did 16 stitches for the toe, and what is it called? I did the Turkish cast on, which is what I usually do for my toes. And then I do a 3x1 ribbing on the foot, not on the bottom of the foot, just the top of the foot. And then I will use the Vanilla Reversed for the heel, and then I will knit a 3x1 ribbing all the way up the leg, and then be done. I might, depending on how much, and I use a 72 stitch count for his socks because he has wider feet, so. Yay, it's manly feet. But yeah, so there you go. This is lovely yarn. It is working up super fast when I work on it. So that is super fun. I think that's everything about his socks. And that's just kind of like my mindless knitting when I'm watching stuff, doing whatever. And then just out of nowhere, I decided to cast on a cowl. I don't know what came over me, but here it is. I've got it almost finished. Now this is worsted weight yarn, so it does go a lot quicker. This is the Candygram pattern by Tanis Lavallee. And so you can see it's striping on this side, but if I turn it inside out, hold on. It's dots. And this is achieved by slipping stitches. It's a super awesome pattern. I highly recommend it. And this is, I'm doing this out of like a woolly wool. This is because it's the way that it's knit. It's 1x1 ribbing. So it is like super dense. But I think it looks super awesome. Even where the join is, you can't tell that there's a line there or anything. So I have super enjoyed this, and yeah, I'm using some Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. In the blue is Fjord Heather, and the gray is Cobblestone Heather. So I have 2 skeins of each. I've already started into the second gray, and that's all I have left of the blue. Blue? I guess it's blue. But yeah, I'm probably pretty close to being done. I'm trying to figure out how tall I want it, because I definitely want it to be able to fold over, because then you can see the stripes and the dots all at once, you know? Anyway, I am very much enjoying that. Said the pattern, said the yarn. Yeah, it's an easy flow to the pattern, so it's great movie knitting, and then it's worsted weight, so I'm not worried about with the sock. Sometimes if we're in like a dark, we have like a theater room and it's very dark in there, and if the movie's very dark and then I drop a stitch or something and then I can't see it, I find that I don't drop as many stitches in the worsted weight because it's thicker and I can kind of finagle it a bit better. Also, the 100% wool just like sticks. When you drop a stitch, it's not running away on you. So yeah, I think that is all my works in progress. Let's move on to events. Alright, so the first event that I wanted for events, the only one I'm really participating in right now is Stash Dash. So I know I've talked about it before, but if you haven't heard of it, it's hosted by the Knit Girls. You can find their website linked below, along with everything else that I've talked about today. And this is something they do every summer, and it's just to set a goal for yourself and see if you can reach that goal. It's more to track like how much you knit during the summer, to motivate you to get some stuff out of your stash, or to complete some projects, or whatever your motivation is. And I signed up for the 3K category, and I thought this top would, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's a sweater, but it doesn't have arms and it's cropped. So it's not quite as much meterage as I thought it would be, but it does help significantly at 730 meters approximately. And yeah, so I am now at 1,848 meters. So far I have finished the Gather hat and cowl set, which was a teacher gift, and one of the teacher hats. The rest of them I finished before Stash Dash started. I knit those reusable balloons. I had the child pattern, the Grogu pattern out of bulky yarn. I finished the even heel socks, the teal and purple and dark blue ones. And I finished the baby sweater, and now I finished this. So that is all of the things I've finished so far. Taylor's sweater is definitely going to get me further on that goal, and I mean the socks and the cowl will definitely all help with that too, and then we'll have to see what else I can finish before August 31st. I will keep you posted on that one. The other thing I wanted to talk about in events, and it's not really an event, but I did want to give you an update on my bingo card. All right, so I have this bingo card that I made at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to let you know what I've done so far. So reorganize my stash / craft room. That has been done. Woohoo! I just checked that off recently. The Advent yarn sweater, which was originally going to be a shawl, and I've decided definitely it's going to be a sweater. Have not cast on yet, but I have picked a pattern. Sweater for Taylor is almost done, so that's good. So that's only one thing checked off so far. A Baby Yoda toy, which I did, which is the Grogu that I gifted to our friends. And the Cozy Up Knits mystery knit along that they did at the beginning of the year. I did finish that. That was the gray and blue wrap. And headbands for the hot tub, which I use a lot this winter actually, just to like go for a walk or something. It was perfect to have a headband instead of a whole toque. I did use a pattern from a BIPOC designer. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I've checked off so far. A cowl. I'm working on a cowl. 12 gnomes. Completely fallen off that bandwagon, but we'll get back on it. And the next one is just sweater. So we'll leave that one open to interpretation later. Some Christmas decor. I have lots of ideas, but I haven't started that yet. The next one was the self-adhesion knit along from the Yarniacs, and I did a cowl. What's it called? It's that dark green one, star something. Anyway, I did a cowl for that. The free space, of course, is just the free space. And the Northern Knits podcast anniversary along. I did not, and it's over now, but that's okay. Socks for Mike. I have already knit him one pair, or finished one pair, and I've got a second one going. So socks for me. I did do some three pairs of socks for me, 2 at least. And a hat. I made a bunch of hats, so that definitely counts. Cooper wants some more mitts for video gaming. Sorry, I'm looking down so much, guys. And I want to make myself a cardigan, and I want to make myself something with the Pixel sock set that I got from Ginger Snap. And I want to make a Musselburgh hat, and yeah. So those are still in the works, but I have made DK socks for myself and some summer attires that I am currently wearing. And the last 2 things are color work and another cowl. So, you know, goals, plans. I do tend to wear cowls a lot. I really want to make, what is it called? The 3-color cashmere cowl by Hoki Locatelli. I really think I would get a lot of use out of that. So that may be one of the cowls that I make. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. It is only July 15th. There is still just under half a year left. So lots of time to finish all of those things, right? Oh dear. All right. So that is it for events, and we'll move on to chatter because that's where I seem to be heading. All right, as I alluded to before in the podcast, my children have not been at home. So Grandma and Fafa took them up to a cabin with their cousins for 12 days. Now, I have had to work 9 of the days, so, you know, there is that part of it, which I super appreciate. The fact that she has taken them over that time so that I can focus on work. Mike also got a bunch of prep done for his year starting in September. So, you know, and they're having an amazing time swimming, and they've got boats there, like the kayaks and a pedal boat. And then they have like this giant floaty thing that they brought, and, you know, just lots of fun outside time. The Wi-Fi is not great, so there is not much video gaming going on, and it's been pretty decent weather. So they're coming home Sunday. Today is Friday, so I'm sure I will hear all about all of the fun times. I am so thankful for them to take them up there, and to do that with their cousins who live a bit further away. So, you know, it's just really, really fun summer times for them. that means that besides working, I have had a bit more dedicated crafting time, and I did not take advantage of it at all. But I mean, I did get quite a few things done. Definitely working on Taylor's sweater when she's not here, now that it kind of looks more like a sweater and it has a T on the front of it. So that'll be, I'm hoping that I can finish that this weekend before she gets home, and then it'll just be a matter of blocking it, and I can do that down here in my office where she doesn't really come in. So that will be that. Let's see. I'm going to talk about all of the books that I've been reading. So I finally finished The Lost World by Michael Crichton. I've been reading that one for a long time. But yeah, once you get into like the last 2/3 of the book, oh my gosh, it's just like, I cannot put it down. Cannot. So good. As with typical, I enjoyed the book more than the movie, but I haven't seen the movie recently, so we're gonna watch it. It's part of our family rotation in Jurassic Park, the whole series. We'll watch it soon. I am still reading A Feast of Crows by George R. R. Martin, and Mike and I have been reading. We're definitely getting close to the end of that book, and I think there's one more. I can't remember. And we do that as our book club, the two of us. So we just sit down and read a chapter and then talk about it. We read separately. He reads in his book, I read in my book. We don't read to each other or something, but we do read the same chapter at the same time and then talk about it or comment on things as we're reading. So that is a nice way to connect. And I finished A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is the third book in that series. This is by Sarah J. Maas. I've read them before. I listened to the audiobook this time, and it's still an amazing book. One of my favorite series. So big win on that one. Also by Sarah J. Maas, I got The House of Earth and Blood back from the library because I didn't finish it in the last set of 21 days that I had it. So hopefully I'll finish it now, but I'm well into another book too. But I was so excited that I just hit borrow when I really should have delayed it by a week. Our Libby app, you can delay your holds at the library by 1 day up to 100 days or something. I don't know. You can delay it so that you're still in the queue, but you're not getting the book right now. So anyway, so I have two books. The other one that I am actively reading right now is called Project Hail Mary, and it's by Andy Weir. It is an outer space science book, science fiction. That's what it's called, science fiction. So far, it is really good, and I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not something in my typical genre, but it was recommended by a friend, and it is excellent. I am enjoying it a lot. And the last one that I listened to, which I'm currently listening to, is Murder on Lexington Avenue by Victoria Thompson. This is from the Gaslight Murder series. They're just, cozy murder mystery. Anyway, I'm just going to continue to listen to all those books because they're just really good. They're just a nice listen. I like the narrator's voice, and they're from the turn of the century, so different genre again. And the last thing about books is that as a family, we've decided to do a book club this summer. So the kids each picked 3 books. We have quite an extensive library of books because my husband is a collector of used books. So we have quite an extensive collection, and they picked, I think Mike kind of narrowed it down, but they picked quite a few classics. So I've read the first one already, which is Journey to the Center of the Earth. So a lot of these are abridged versions that have been adapted to the children's style of writing. So they're definitely adapted in a way that's younger than my kids would normally read, but then also that makes it a nice quick read. So I read The Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. I read that in one evening because it's an abridged version and it's big print and pictures on every other page, and anyway, but it was good. I don't know that I've read the full version, but it was an interesting story for sure. And the other ones that have been chosen, which I have not read yet, but I really should get on them, is Robin Hood, The Time Machine, Charlotte's Web, Little Women, and A Wrinkle in Time. So the kids took 2 of those, one each, for their 12-day trip with Grandma. But when they get back, we'll all just read through them, and then we can talk about them, and it'll be super fun family book club. Yeah. So since I last talked to you, a lot of things have happened. That school is over for the summer. Taylor graduated from grade 5, which is the last year of elementary school, and in September we'll be starting at middle school. So I no longer have any elementary school children. So, well, there you are. They had a graduation ceremony thing. They started planning it at the beginning of the year, and they just weren't sure what the rules and regulations due to COVID guidelines would be, so they planned it same as they did last year. It was a drive-through graduation ceremony. So the front of the school has kind of like the gym, and a classroom kind of comes out, so there's a walkway into the front of the school. So they had a red carpet and a balloon arch, and some streamers, and the vice principal was on the megaphone kind of announcing them with fun music in the background. So we stay at our car, and Taylor got to walk down the red carpet. There's a professional photographer taking your picture with the principal and your teacher, and you get a little graduation hat, and then you walk back down, and there's a little ice cream truck thing that they get to go and have an ice cream at, and then, that's kind of it. So it was good. It was fine. It's kind of anticlimactic because I really wanted to see, there's a lot of kids that I've known either from kindergarten or even before, and it's kind of nice. Since we haven't been able to volunteer much in the last few years, it would have been nice to kind of see all of them, do their little walk down the red carpet thing. And I guess we could have stayed and watched them all, but it was like we would then have to go and park and walk back, and it wasn't set up for spectators other than the family that was watching the one kid. So anyway, is what it is. We'll see what happens in future years when they graduate from middle school and then high school. I'm sure there'll be bigger celebrations. So the next night was the farewell beach party, and that was super fun. Other than there was thunder and lightning and it was raining, so not much beach fun. Although I would say 90% of the kids still spent most of the time in the lake. Other than when the thunder and lightning happened, we hauled them all out of the lake, and they were sitting on their towels, freezing cold, and then back in the lake they went when it was safe. So, that's how kids are. But it was super fun. Got to see some parents of kids that I don't normally talk to, and then talk to some of my friends and stuff too. So Taylor had a great time, which is what's important. And then it was Canada Day. And that's a holiday here in Canada. So we went up to a friend's cabin and just hung out there for the day and had a fun time. It was very relaxing, exactly what we needed, just a chill time. The kids played with the other kids, and us adults just sat around and chit-chatted. And it was just perfect just to take a break from all of the end of the year craziness. So that was super fun. And as part of our year-end thing that we do normally, the Parent Advisory Council at the elementary school is that we go out for dinner at the end of the year. This year we decided that eating out at a restaurant is too expensive, so we just went out for drinks and had some appies and stuff. But it was super fun. It was a very small group this year, but still super fun. So yeah, I had a good time at that. We sat out on a patio nearby, which is also super fun to do because it's summer. What else did I do? I'm looking at my notes again, so you get to look at my side profile. I went to the Downton Abbey movie. That's what I missed a whole section, guys. I went to the Downton Abbey movie, and I swatched for a new sweater. I can't reach it. There we go. Ta-da! It's a swatch. And I actually got gauge exactly right on. So anyway, this is a swatch. If for the ease pattern by somebody, I didn't write it down. I am fully unprepared. And this is some Patton's Classic Wool. And this is the dark gray marl. It is definitely like there's lighter gray and dark gray and then the white marled in there. Yeah, anyway, this will be this ease sweater, and I am going to do the one with like the kind of neck. It's not a turtleneck. It's got a, I don't know what you call it. The neck treatment. And it's got a little like drawstring and stuff. It's definitely like a sweatshirt style sweater. So you should definitely look it up. I will link to it below. And yeah, so I knit the swatch during the movie. The movie was good. Not great. It was good. Kind of wrapped everything up. You know, it was amazing to see Maggie Smith still doing her thing. And yeah, but it was good. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. And I got a new fridge. I don't know if I said anything on the last podcast, but our fridge died. It just would not keep things cool anymore. The compressor was not working. We think it was partly that it's 12 years old, and partly that the drawer on the freezer somehow got warped or bent by somebody not closing it properly, or like something in there getting stuck. Anyway, so cold air was slowly leaking out of the freezer, so the compressor was having to work a lot harder to keep everything cold, and eventually it was just like, I'm done. So yeah, and but our fridge came. It was a pain to get the old one out and the new one in. It was delivered by a company, but I don't think they were prepared for the stairs of doom, as I call them in my house. They're just very narrow, and they have a turn in them. It's not easy to move stuff in and out of the upstairs of our house. Anyway, all's well that ends well. We have a new fridge. I love it. We've never had like water and ice on the outside of our fridge, and now we do. So, yeah, it's good. I like it. We had water, filtered water inside. You had to open the door of the fridge and do the water that way, which there are pluses and minuses to each. So we now have an outside water and ice maker, and it does like chipped ice and cubed ice. So, and then it has ice in the freezer too. So lots of ice, which will be, it's good for summer drinks. So we don't use ice that much, but the water, filtered water, is definitely a plus in our house. We have very hard water, so and then we have a water softener, and then filtering some of that salt back out again when we drink it. It's a good idea. And what else? Since the kids were away, Mike and I decided last weekend that we would watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and we watched the extended versions of all three movies. We did it over 3 days. We did not do it all like back to back. It was still lots and lots of movie watching time. Mostly I worked on the cowl. Yeah, but they are amazing movies, and they hold up, and they're awesome. You should watch them if you haven't seen them. I highly recommend the extended versions if you can sit through a 4-hour movie. But the nice thing is when you watch them at home, you can just pause it and go to the bathroom or stand up and stretch or whatever you need to do. So, and what else? What else? So many things. This is the trouble when I don't podcast very often, because I have so many things to talk about. This week, with it being summer, the neighboring city, the city of Kelowna, put on a dancing in the park, and this week was Zumba, and I went, and it was amazing, and it was hot, but we managed. And then there's yoga afterwards, so we did a bit of the yoga. We didn't stay for the whole yoga, but we did some stretching and stuff. Yeah, I have forgotten how much I love Zumba, and I definitely I need more of it in my life. It's a good thing. And I enjoyed it very much, and it was nice to see some of my old friends that are Zumba instructors, and catch up with them a little bit. So it was all very, very fun out in the park, out in the wildlife. And I mean, it was a cement. It wasn't out in the wilderness. Stewart Park is down in like the main downtown area, super busy, big cement area where they do a skating rink in the summer, and then they have roller skating in the, no, that's wrong, skating in the winter, roller skating in the summer. Oh my goodness. And the last thing for summer that I am super excited about is having fresh cherries and other fresh fruit, but like picking cherries off the tree and then eating them is amazing. We don't have cherry trees in our yard, but we have lots of friends who have a cherry tree or two. So yeah, fresh cherries, many of them in our future are going to happen. So yay. All right, I think that is probably enough talking for one day, and we will see you next time, and I'm going to clean up this disaster of my office now. My clean office, it's so dirty. Anyway, hopefully we'll see you guys in a week or two, and until then, have a great week. Bye.